Oh no, from camera. Good morning, everyone. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Hi, everyone. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and welcome to the April 2022 ChemKnits Dialogue live stream. I'm squeaking in just at the end of the month, and I know I shared the inspiration photo late. I'm not sure if I will extend this one longer into May or if I'll also do a separate May photo. Things have just been a little bit more hectic for me in April. But anyway, every month I try to pick a new inspiration photo that we use to dye some yarn. And so today in this live stream, I will be dyeing some yarn inspired by the colors in these gorgeous peacock feathers. Now, it's a dye-along, so if you would like to participate, please dye your own yarn, make your own interpretations in color inspired by the same photo. And if you would like me to feature the yarn or fiber that you dye, share it on Instagram using the hashtag ChemKnitsDialogue, or look for this photo on the public ChemKnits Facebook page and reply with a photo comment, and then I'll pull a bunch of the pictures to include in the recap of this live stream where I will show off my finished dry yarn. Because sometimes there's some steps that I don't complete during the live stream and things like that. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Good morning. And I know that daytime streams are harder for a lot of people in the US to make. I know it's a little more friendly than evening streams for our friends across the pond in Europe, but I do function a bit better during the daytime, and so I think it is a little bit easier for me, and so that's why I've shifted some of these earlier. Now, April got away from me this month because between Pesach, Easter, and spring break, and like prepping for a Seder and stuff, it just sort of threw the whole middle of the month off. And so I'm now trying to get back into things. And I am also shipping out the SMSMS yarn sets, the Spring Mini Skein Mini Series yarn. So these are 120 gram sets of yarn with fun extras that are all part of a theme of videos that are going to come out at the end of May. So at the end of May, I'm blanking on the exact date at the moment. It'll be in the listing description. At the end of May, every night there will be a new yarn dyeing video that'll come out as a premiere. And so all of the sets are labeled with a date and the episode number, so that way you can open up a fade set that was dyed in that video. And while there is a consistent theme across each set that is dyed in each night, the videos will have a fair amount of variety in terms of technique and mixing, and then, you know, the final kind of result I'm going for. And so I'm very, very excited for it. But if you want to learn more about the theme and things like that, go all the way to the bottom of the listing description. I have it pinned in the chat. And do I have a link handy? Well, I guess I have this link handy. Good. Oh, that was too long. Extras. Let's delete that. Okay, I have that link. But they are shipping now. So many of you would have had a shipping notification. There are still a handful that that will get them tomorrow or potentially on Saturday morning. But I think I'm on target to get all of the SMS orders that have been ordered through this week out by Saturday's like pickup. So yeah, that's the hope. That's the plan, but you know, getting some of the yarn from some of these series is a great way to help support the content here. But the biggest way you can support the content is by subscribing, turning on notifications, and giving any video you watch a thumbs up. But yeah, so let's go ahead and think about today's picture. Let's see, I'll make it bigger and scooch over. Scooch over a little bit. Yeah, so I'm sure I've dyed like yarn in this kind of colorway before. Ooh, I didn't pull any yellow, but I do have chartreuse, and so that might lean a little yellow. But these iridescent peacock feathers are gorgeous. It's sort of a fan favorite kind of color combination. And I want to do my own kind of take on it. And I think I want to play with using like a painting with dry powder kind of randomly in a steam pan is the technique I want to do. And so today I'm planning to dye 2 different yarn bases. Knit Picks Swish DK and then Knit Picks Gloss Fingering Weight yarn, because I think that a little bit of the sheen of a merino silk blend would help with the feathery appearance. And actually, let me make sure that I have, I'm going to put the yarn bases in the video description. There is a link to, just a general link to Knit Picks Bare Yarn, but I'm going to add, that's Gloss Roving. Do I not have, oh, there's Gloss. Okay, so Gloss is 70% merino wool, 30% silk. It's non-superwash, and I'm planning on dyeing it second. Swish DK is 100% superwash merino. It is the base, one of the bases that I dye most frequently. And so those are the 2 that I'm planning to play with. And I will be using Dharma acid dyes today. And so since I'm using commercial acid dyes, all the tools and equipment that I'm using are dedicated for dyeing yarn, are never used for the preparation of food. And whenever I'm dealing with dry dye powder, I will be wearing a respirator mask. So I will shortly sound a lot more muffled. And so if people in the chat wonder why, just let them know I'm wearing a respirator. But if you're curious, the respirator that I wear is from Dharma Trading Company, and I also have that linked and a bunch of my other favorite tools in the video description. And affiliate links are very clearly marked. But anyway, let's go to the counter. Nope, I don't need my face here. Here we go. And I'm going to make this a tiny bit smaller. I like to try to have this on screen so that way I can see it, and then I'll try to put my yarn mop up there. And I'll check the chat in a sec. Oh, the iPad turned off. I'm like, I need that so I can see the chat. Oh, funny. I'm getting an ad for like an allergy thing. You have some lace weight BFL Silk Stellina that's been calling your name. Ooh, that would be gorgeous. That would be gorgeous. Yeah, so I'm very excited about this one. But anyway, I decided to just hang out at the countertop, and I've got my steam pan here on the electric hot plate, but I'm actually going to move it closer to me and adjust the camera, because realizing that if it's over there, I'm going to lean pretty hard. So let me see. Oh, you can still see. Okay. That's actually not bad. But let me, I'll still move you, I think, anyway. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit better. Cool, cool, cool. But yeah, so this is a catering steam pan, and I don't think I have this linked, but I did show off this hot plate in a very recent video. This is a Cuisinart countertop 2-burner electric hot plate that I really like. And so my work surface is protected with a shower curtain. And while the bottom of the hot plate does get warm, so if I were to touch the metal here, that would be hot. The heat doesn't penetrate to the counter. The distance and the gap with these rubber stoppers is very helpful. So that's not a problem. But making sure, good, we're still in a decent position. There we go. And let's see, we need yarn. When you pre-soak everything together, then there's always a moment where you're like, am I going to pick the right yarn? All right, so I figured I'll start with the Swish DK, and I'm going to come in with 300 grams, sort of just arrange it, not really set it up yet in the pan, and I'm going to get some water to add on top. And I think I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of vinegar with 8 cups of water. I think that's the proportion that I would like to start with. And this isn't even plugged in yet. So it's not heating up yet. That's my other electric burner tip. When you don't want it on and heating, just unplug it. That way you can confirm that it's off, and then you won't have any issues. So 8 cups of water with this amount of yarn is not the lowest of immersion. There is a lot of water, so I should be able to, if I want to, depending on how the colors are striking, there's plenty of water that I should be able to, with a spoon, move the dye through and work that through the yarn a little bit. And I'm going to want a yarn mop. So when I'm working with dry powder, I like to have a skein of yarn that I've already pre-soaked with acid. And when I have dye on my gloved fingertips, I will wipe them on this skein of yarn as a way to, I guess, both use up the dye that I have. It makes it easy. I'm not like going to run back and forth to the sink as much, but then these colorways usually end up being really pretty as well. And you'll just be able to barely see it. I think it'll be slightly covered by the thumbnail. Let me see. Ooh, watermelonish yarn sounds lovely. Yes, the purple there is really, really rich. And so I did pull 2 different photos. You can go for a combination of both or just stick with one. But I loved the iridescence that you can feel in the picture on the right. But then I loved that like acid green and rich blue that there is on the left as well. And so I'm probably going to do something in the middle. And, oh, I plugged it in, but I don't think I turned it on yet. Let's go to, where's the, I think the top. Yeah, let's go to like 4. The burners are different sizes, but that shouldn't be an issue. So once I've finished applying dye here, then I will go and take it to the stove. And so we can dye the other one right here. All right, and as for colors, I'm thinking Chartreuse. I think that radioactive might be a little bit better for like an acid kind of green, but I wanted to use a different one because I use radioactive a lot, and so that's why I'm thinking Chartreuse, and we can sort of blend some blues with it if it's a little too yellowy green. And so I'm also pulled Bright Aqua, which you can really see a little bit of in the one on the right. I've got Teal Green. I'm going to grab Sapphire Blue and Electric Violet, I think. I don't think I have very much of it. The Electric Violet may not feel pink enough, but it also may be pinky purple enough, so we'll see if I need to go grab something a little bit pinker. But I think that that's what I want to do. Now, there is a Peacock Blue, and so I'm undecided if I want to use the Sapphire Blue or the Peacock Blue. Yeah. I may start with the Peacock Blue and then swap. Or I might try both and then we'll decide on which one we like better. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But let me see. I need to think about how I'm going to do this. I actually am going to move this further back and have the dies where you won't really be able to see them. I think I like that setup a little bit better. All right, and now my mask and gloves. And we're almost ready to go. Almost. You can go back there. Okay. I guess I need this to heat up, and so that's what I'm waiting for. There should be a peacock green. I don't know if there's a peacock green dye out, but that would be a very, very lovely one to have. I think that the picture on the left doesn't show off as many blues that there are in the peacocks as well. And so, yeah. Julia, did you pull Kelly Green from Jacquard? I think that, or does Dharma have a Kelly Green too? I'm blanking. The Kelly Green from Jacquard is super similar to Jacquard's Chartreuse and like radioactive. Those colors are all very similar, and I think some hints of it would not be too bright. Yeah. I probably have black downstairs as well, but I don't know if I want to use a black yet. I think while I'm here, I'll make this smaller again. Yeah, I think that I'm going to want to sort of see what these colors are doing and then decide. But if you've never heard the sounds that a peacock makes, I recommend after the stream, go and look for like peacock sounds, because they sound like, okay, so if you've ever played Final Fantasy and you know the sound that a chocobo makes, like the or something, which sounds like not a real creature, it sounds like a fake sound. They sound like it's not a real sound. At the zoo, at the local zoo, there are peacocks at free range around there, and so you can go and like see them, and it's nice, and then like you can hear it. And so it's so funny. Ooh, does True Turquoise bleed more than Caribbean Blue? I think so. Caribbean Blue or any kind of bright blue like that can bleed, but True Turquoise is a different pigment from Caribbean Blue. And I think that the Caribbean Blue, in my opinion, does bleed less, maybe. So I've only really used the True Turquoise intensively once, and then it was a bit of a bleeder, and so then I haven't used it as much after that. So yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that I should say that the darker blue would be better than a black. The only reason why I feel at all any kind of black, and I'll just make this bigger for this moment, it's just because the one photo shows more like black, and that doesn't really have much blue in it at all. But that's just because of the angle of the feather that you are looking at, that you see those colors. And so if you look at an actual peacock without the feathers spread out all the way, you'll see a lot more just blue and green and less of these other colors that we get at the tip. And so you are welcome to, like, when you're dyeing along with me, you can pull inspiration from the photo exactly, or take those colors literally, or you can think, okay, peacock. What does peacock mean to me? And use the like concept. I allow that too. Yeah, the peacocks just sound like wild to me. But this is the one. So the hot plate does heat up pretty quickly, but I've got a lot more. Oh, I see some steam. I just saw like a little pocket of steam come up from right here. That's pretty fun. That's pretty fun. One time, one of the peacocks jumped in with the prairie dogs. I was like, it's not meerkats at the zoo, the prairie dog exhibit, and that was just so funny. The prairie dogs were like, what is this here? But yeah, so I recently swatched all of my blue acid dyes across, I think I've got 5 different brands now at my disposal. And in that, I found that the peacock blue, at least how I looked at it, seemed less intense than the sapphire blue. And so the sapphire blue was a little bit brighter. But I don't remember because I haven't, so that's this month's Die Cut PS that'll be available publicly sometime next month. I have not finished editing it yet. Yeah, I might like the peacock blue better. Yeah, I haven't finished editing it yet, but I don't remember, therefore, if that's one that got more intense once I added heat or not, because some colors did that. Have I ever heard a fox scream? No, but I can do a wonderful rendition of what does the fox say, and I'm not going to do that on a live stream. So that song went viral when I was pregnant with Lucas. And so then for a while, like Lucas, I sang that to Lucas every day for a while. Yeah, peacocks are super, super funny. All right, I'm gonna go check on the yarn. See how we're doing. So yeah, like right here is super cold. Right there is warm. So this is when sometimes you may want to like do some moving just to like distribute the heat a little bit better. It will eventually even out more. Someone suggested, because I just had a hot plate video come out, that there are like metal sheets you can get that'll help distribute the heat a little bit better, which may not be like a bad idea to have. But I also don't recommend sticking your hands into hot, super hot situations. I'm good at doing like a quick heat check and then seeing. But actually, another thing I can do right now, while we're heating things up initially, is flip it around. One other thing I've done before is heat things up on the stove before putting them on the hot plate, or brought over hot water to put on, so that way things start out hot and therefore the heat that you're adding is just helping maintain the temperature. But also another thing that I could do, which, because it's a live stream, I might not do, is that I could cover it with foil. And that will, when the steam is coming up, trap the steam in here and help make the heat more even throughout the whole pan. But right now, we are pretty much waiting for a kettle to flip. Let's see. The colors are very pretty. Have I used Knit Picks Dishy Cotton? Yes, I have. What have I used it for? I've definitely used it for some baby hats, and I've dyed it a fair amount. I personally like the Swish line a lot more for knitting. Not Swish, the Shine. Shine is the one. It's a cotton modal blend, and so it has, it's a little bit like softer. It's not quite as stiff as Dishy, and so it has a really nice drape. And that I ended up using for even more baby hats, and for I use that for like some of the loveys and stuff I made with my kids. Yeah, Dishy is, I would say, pretty similar to Peaches and Cream. Yeah, it's pretty similar. It might be a hair nicer than Peaches and Cream, but it's a 100% cotton. It's a very like workhorse cotton kind of yarn. Dying of curiosity. Nice, nice. No, it's sort of like, well, the peacocks, like, you know, you always are like, ooh, let's go up a little close, and then, but not too close to the peacocks. But they do, the zoo does put out food and stuff for them. It's just they don't have them confined, like, confined feels rude, but they're not, like, they don't have like a spot where they live. I don't think they're wild. I think that they do have a place where they can go indoors, but yeah, they just kind of roam around. Wait, Divergent? Oh, there's another. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Divergent Crafter's a username. For a second I was like, huh? Yeah, so other cotton. There's Knitpicks has some other cottons that I really like. Some of them probably need scouring before dyeing because they aren't super absorbent right away. But yeah, anyway, alright, I'm gonna go see how we're doing as I squint. I think it's time, or past time, for me to get my eyes checked. I have not had an eye exam in well over a decade, nor have I worn my glasses in well over a decade. My main issue is depth perception. Where are my tongs? Okay. As I'm like, stir up, distribute heat, and I'm going to flip you around one more time because I want to start with the things on this side. That is the only reason. So I am going to now go and put on my respirator mask, safety glasses, and gloves. And take off my sweatshirt. It was below 40 degrees this morning. And so it's this weird time of year in Massachusetts, and it seems, well, actually a lot colder than usual. But now I will be much more muffled. Please let me know in the chat if I need to project more. Sometimes when I project a little too much, I think it makes it harder for me to understand. But I don't know if I'm speaking too quietly now with the mask on. Actually, I'll do a quick check. Sometimes when I project a little too much. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, that's not bad at all. So I know if I speak too loudly, then there's a lot of like vibration or almost like echo from the mask. All right, let's start with a quick little comparison of some Sapphire Blue So this is the Sapphire, and I'm just going to spread it a bit. I didn't put it all the way across. We'll be going very randomly throughout the yarn. And I'm drying my fingertips after wiping them on the yarn mop to grab the Peacock Blue. Which actually, I may end up going for. It's got like, they're both similar. This is a little bit more green maybe. But I'm going to grab a photo
to try to remember to include in the recap. And not a selfie. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll stick with the peacock after all. I love Sapphire Blue. But we may as well go for the namesake of our creature, right? So let's go ahead and sort of finish off these areas. We will be going more randomly, but like this color is definitely not going all the way through where I'm placing it. So we will absolutely need to add more color, and I'll show in a moment. But see, if we go a few layers down, there's not color there. So we're going to be layering more and more color. Things may start in a more stripe way right now and get more random as we go on. But actually, or I might get a little random right now. Let's do some Chartreuse. And if the green isn't green enough, if it's too yellow, we can always help it. But if we have a little bit of some yellow, ooh, see there, that one is more green. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I forgot that this is a color that breaks, and I wonder if the green is gonna like show up more in a moment. I think it's a little bit too yellow, but what I can do with that is help make it green. And there are a few like yellow hints, which is another reason why I kind of picked it. But let's get some bright aqua and just put a little bit. We'll see if this is too much and if I'm going to want to shift that more. But so we both have these like more like greenish, yeah, that's sort of giving us a little bit more green. Just adding it there, but then still having some of that yellow green. I want to look at the picture a little closer. Yeah, actually, I don't mind that. I might try to do a little bit smaller with it as we go. But now I want to do, and I know things kind of look like a hot mess currently, but trust in the process. I've got some electric violet. Yeah, so it's not the like pinkest purple, but I feel like that this purple is really, really good for the close-up. Okay. All right, so those are our sort of accents, but I am going to do some more bright aqua, I think. And I think I'm going to do that just like over here. Maybe a little bit all around. Because I want these colors to like layer and blend into one another and move through and have like different depths to feel some of the iridescent feeling, which you can't exactly get on yarn. And then the last color, I might do a little bit more of the peacock, but then we also have some teal green to bring in. So today is a big going to spy field day. And actually, we may not need teal. I think I will still use teal green, but it may not be as needed just because I feel like we're going to create some of that here. But ooh, I could also do, I guess I decided I was done with that a little earlier than I thought. I could do some like speckles of this on some of those other colors. That could be fun. But I'm definitely like flying by the seat of my pants today, making this all up as we go along, doing something very, very random and not even. That is sort of the goal of what we're doing today. But the colors are, for the most part, striking pretty quickly. All right, let's get some teal green in. I don't like the bigger jar. It's a little bit harder to grab and a pinch of some powder. But yeah, I'm gonna have to decide if I want to add a little bit of like speckle onto this. Because again, we are gonna be flipping and adding color multiple times. And there will be some speckle just from this technique, because as the time it takes for me to wipe the yarn on the yarn mop, some of these colors will start to strike where they are placed and won't necessarily spread. And so then I get to play and sort of see where I might want to add more, and so I can pick up some dye and sort of transport it around as well. But yeah, you can see there's definitely a lot of white. I'm trying to get that zip tie in because dye definitely got on the zip ties. And by like pressing and moving, I'm helping these colors work through a little bit, but not a ton really. But yeah, this is sort of what I am going for. And I think for all I want, part of me wants to like speckle on it a little bit. I think I'm not going to, just because I don't want to, what's the word? I want to reduce the heat a little bit more. The reason why I'm not speckling is I don't want to lose some of these bright pops. And I think that we might still diminish that as we add more color as we flip. So let me wash my hands, and then I'm going to grab a photo of this. So yeah, I'm happy with this palette, and I'm glad I got the teal. I wasn't sure if it needed it, but I think having a little bit more dark in there, I really like. I'm also going to set a timer for 10 minutes, which you don't really need to wait that long before flipping, but it's just a time that I like. Okay, and I can check chat again in a moment. What did I want to do? I wanted to get some more water ready in case I feel like I need it. And where is this guy? When you are heating anything, you always want to make sure things don't run dry, that you wouldn't like burn anything, right?
But when you're dealing with an electric hot plate, that is a tiny bit more of a concern for me, just because you can't turn down the volume the temperature as quickly. So I'm taking just some liquid that has that same proportion of acid to liquid that we used before, and just adding some on. Also to wipe any just sort of like little bits of damp dye I saw off the sides. But I plan to go a little bit even more random with my color placements once we do the next round. Oh, no, here we go. Here we go, and I need to make it so I can see the chat. And I honestly don't know if, because I pulled the gloss, and it's possible that I'll spend the next hour like working on this until I get something I'm like happy and satisfied with. Or it's possible that we will finish this up and then I'll move on to the gloss. So whether or not that happens today, I don't know for sure. Thank you. I'm glad you like these colors. Yeah, I'm liking the Chartreuse. And one thing, if you're just tuning in with the Chartreuse, it was a little bit too yellow for me, so I added some bright aqua on top of it to bring it a little more green. The yarn mop is looking really pretty. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. A shawl would be really pretty in these colors, especially if you had like lace weight minis and then did some kind of crescent shawl with the colors kind of like going out in rings. That would be really, really pretty. Or like a wedge one, and you could do like, make it really peacock. Let's see. I'm just setting up a steamer basket, which won't be ready for this time, but should be ready for the next round because there's a lot of dye on the mop already. I do have a second skein I can use if I need it. Need the lid. But yeah, I'm hoping to finish editing the blue swatch dye pop PS video today so I can get that up on Saturday. That's my goal. That's my hope. But again, like I had that filmed the first week and I was like, man, I'm on top of things, I'm on target, and then, yeah. No, I'm doing full skeins today. So in the pan right now I have 300 grams of Knit Picks Swish DK. Which is 100% superwash merino. But I'm just envisioning how these colors would be really fun on minis. And thank you, everyone. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys can hear me, which of course I did not check while I was up there. I was very like in my brain thinking about the colors and what I was going to do with them. Yeah, so the color here, the color of the camera isn't perfect. I think things are leaning a little bit more blue, and you're not getting as much of the pink that is in the purple, but the purple that I used is definitely closer to the purple on the right-hand side versus the more pink purple that is on the left. But I think that it is nice still. Well, obviously I think it's nice because it's what I picked. Yeah, it could definitely be a beanie or a cowl. Ooh, it would be really pretty on bulky. Really, really pretty on bulky. I mean, it would be pretty on anything. I need to figure out, okay, because like where I was needing to sit, I'm still, oh, okay, I can move you. Okay, that's a little better. Because like where I was needing to sit to try to be in the center of the camera is right where the plug is. And I'm like, this isn't working. I can't lean back. Yes, I think that I did consider if I should try to do some of that diamond roving with the iridescence, or really, There is some roving that is like 30% that iridescent stellita, or sorry, iridescent angelina, and that would be an amazing one to do with these colors. But I think that with that diamond blend, that is, I think it's a superwash wool, nylon, and angelina blend that I dyed in just navy, I think using like the teal and purple and navy would be so pretty with those colors. A lot of times, I plan like my scarf things based on like my coat colors. Of course, I got teal green Uggs, and then I ended up with a teal green coat, so then they match. And I'm like, that was not the goal. But for a while, I just had black coats, and so then I was like, ooh, I want teal Uggs. And then, yeah, so I picked the colors based on my coats a lot. I'm going to go over and check. I set a timer, but it's looking quite steamy. And so I might want to reduce. Okay, there's only 2 minutes left. We can go ahead and play. The 10 minutes is more of, it's not a hard and fast rule. It's more of a guideline. And as I noticed, and I don't think I even really mentioned this super clearly, but yeah, a lot of the color has struck, which is a great news. It's always wonderful when you pick colors that do that really well. And oof, the yarn mop. I left some liquid in the mop, I think, and so the patches are bigger, and I just rotated it to show some more white. So should have shown it a little bit before. But I don't think the colors have been striking there yet, so that's why after this next side, I will probably heat set the mop a little bit. But ooh. Ooh, okay, so there is one of those blues, and it might be Sapphire. One of them does not do a good job in a dye stock. It doesn't dissolve well. And it could be the Peacock. So we could end up with speckles all over just from the Peacock, but I honestly don't remember which blue it is right now. It could be the Peacock. But we'll see. I'm leaning into the peacock. All right, let's start with our brights. And then we'll move more towards the deeper tones. But I'm going to put my mask back on. One time you dyed your hair blue faded to teal. Ooh. That sounds very pretty. And glasses, which I left right there. All right. Let's start with the Chartreuse. And if you're just tuning in, this is the color that I used before. So I'm partially putting it on the skeins where I knew it was present already. But sometimes in just different areas. The goal is to just make sure I get some of it on each of the skeins. But you can see that, oh, see this time, leaning a little bit more green. So funny. And I definitely, maybe because I used more of it, but you can see we're getting a bigger pop this time, but this will just give us some more teals as I spread it. Oh my goodness. But so this is why I'm starting with these colors, and then we'll layer on the darker colors. Okay, but I do want to do some bright aqua, and I am still going to put a little bit of this on the Chartreuse before giving the bright aqua its own full moment here. Because it's just going to add a little bit of blue and make it a little bit less yellow. But still, because we're layering it like this, there's still going to be some pops
potentially of the more yellowy green in here. But depending on how many layers we do, these color differences may end up being a lot more subtle than they look right now. So just throwing that out there. Okay. Oh. I was like, as I start to like sprinkle dye onto the mop may have the most like distinctive color sectioning. So I did find out recently that bright aqua is not as light fast as a lot of the other colors that I'm using. I think that that's the case for a lot of bright blues though. And a lot of colors like radioactive, a lot of colors with fluorescence are also not as light fast as some other colors in acid dyes. And I don't think that that's just limited to Dharma. I think that it's based on those pigments, and it's possible that other brands just don't use that pigment, which might be why they don't have colors quite like that. Okay, coming in with our electric violet, little pops. Electric violet is one of my favorite colors. It is expensive now. I think one of the pigments in it, price has gone way up. And so if you're buying it now, you might be like, whoa, 2 ounces of that is quite pricey. So just a heads up. But it is a beautiful, beautiful purple. Very, very rich and intense. And ooh, actually, I should do, ooh, I need to remember this, and I might need to write this down. I should dip dye with electric violet and bright aqua. Okay, I wrote that down. Peacocks, yes, peacock feathers do have speckles too. There will definitely be some speckles in here, just because of the overall technique. Okay, I'm coming in with our peacock blue. I'm just sort of adding it and layering it a little bit all over. We'll come in with the teal next. But I'm not, again, I'm not necessarily, like, as I'm layering it, I'm going to come and I am spreading it out. So while there still may be some speckles in here from it, the goal is not to have, like, it just stay where it is to create sharp speckles. But again, I don't mind if there are some speckles. But yeah, some of these colors are ending up maybe a bit deeper than what I was going for. And so if you're doing some kind of layering technique like this, and things are ending up darker than you wanted because you're like, ooh, I'm adding too much pigment, and I wish I was adding a little bit less. One thing you could do is mix your dyes with citric acid, because if you do that, then when you go and are layering the powder on, if you're a little too heavy-handed, it won't make as big of a difference, if that makes sense. Some of this is giving me like Starry Night vibes, which is really cool. Oh yeah. So I'm trying to, there we go. Layer. What's funny is, like, I don't know where I am on the, like, monitor compared to, like, where I am in real time, but I'm not seeing the purple on camera, and I promise I see it in person. So it's there. It's just not a major player. But the other reason for spreading out these colors a little bit is to help the colors go through multiple layers. But because when we pick it up, we will see a fair amount of white, which again is okay, but ideally I want the yarn to look a little bit more like this. And this is what I want. So, all right, what I'm going to do now is put the yarn mop, which is looking lovely. I'm going to put it in my steamer basket. So that way I can continue to wipe my hands on it. And I reuse my gloves a lot. So right now I'm not super sweaty, so it'll be easier to put them back on my hands. But if I start to get sweaty, then I set them aside after I've washed off the outsides and then use them a different day. And then just rinsing any color I am seeing off of these sides, and which also is adding a little bit more water. But this is really, really pretty. I'm gonna grab another picture. Oh, I see a spot. I want to rinse more off the side. Okay, I will post the picture to my Instagram so then you can compare it, or to my Instagram stories. Share to stories. No, I don't want to select a location. Okay. So you can see what the colors are looking like. Turn you down. Okay, I did that. Let's do, oh dear, squirted dye on the counter. Okay. Okay, I'm coming back, everyone. And, well, I'm hearing the hissing of the steamer basket, so I know I'm gonna pop up really soon again. Let's see. Thank you. So the colors I'm using today are Peacock Blue. Oh, I have my lab notebook. My diary. And so then I ended up going with this. Okay, so I'm using Chartreuse with bright aqua on top of it to bring it a little bit more green, but there might still be some yellow notes in there. I'm using teal green and peacock blue for the deeps, and then I'm using electric violet for some purple pops in there, which the purples on screen right now I'm not seeing. But I just posted a picture on my Instagram, and maybe, I don't know if I will be able to, no. It hasn't uploaded yet to photos. I was like, can I download it? Can I download it? Yeah, so it's a lot more bright in my stories. If that, once that photo gets into the cloud, then I can share it. But yeah, so that's my interpretation. But I'm mad that the purples aren't showing up. Okay, I am going to go pop right back. I'm not going to change the scenes. I'm going to turn the heat on the steamer basket to low. And I'm going to turn these down a little bit as well. But in
Like the greens especially, I feel a little bit of the like speckle in there. The purple is definitely like the most subtle. But I'm glad that it's there, and I'm just really, really happy with the way these colors are going. I was wanting to do, I mean, sometimes I like to try to mix up the techniques that I do for these dialogues, and I totally thought about doing a version of this that was dip dyed, or doing like a teal yarn but just having like a tip of the yarn and having a lot of like little colors in there. Like you could do something like resisty. There's so many ideas that I had, but I haven't done this just more random organic approach in a while, and I was really like feeling it because yeah, I spent a lot of the this week hunched over wrapping up packages. Which soon, once more of them have started to get delivered, and then maybe I will spoil the packaging and stuff and the extras and show those. So if you ordered one of the, like, what I'm talking about, the spring mini skein mini series samplers, and there are still some left. There's a few different yarn bases yet. There are 100 gram, 120 gram sets, and then there's some full skeins and some soft blinks as well. I just popped it into the chat again. There are a lot of really fun extras. Something that is completely new that hasn't been shown before in any of my samplers in the past. There are also, I always, in all of these, do some kind of like stitch marker / progress keeper. I try to use like a lobster claw that's big enough so it can both fit on a knitting needle or be used on crochet as a progress keeper instead of just a stitch marker. And so, yeah, I'm very, very proud of them. But I haven't been really like filming or anything this week because that has been what I've been doing, and it's taken over. For a while, I was like, okay, no one could come in the dining room because that's where we eat usually. And I was like, no, because we kept like an extra table that we had out for Passover there, and so I've been using that. And I was like, okay, no, kids, you're not allowed in this room. I don't want anything getting like knocked over or anything like that. But yeah, it's fun. And I like, I'll have a vlog where I talk a bit and I'll show off because if you, no pressure. If you don't order one of the sets, you can still enjoy the series. The videos will be there for everyone. I'm going to try to be in the live chat room in the evenings to like hang out and react to the videos alongside during the premieres. But I will have a vlog where I will show off the things that I made and some of the thoughts behind the scenes. I have no idea how cohesive the vlog is going, but I have been filming clips along the way. Aww. I'm sorry, Montana, that you didn't get a notification that I was live. So YouTube, I mean, I have no control over who YouTube notifies, but you can check with the little bell icon and turn on, I think, press for like all notifications, and then if you use an app on your phone, you should get like a little push notification when I start a stream. So yeah, I guess this moment is subscribe, everyone. Oh man. I wish I could see the timer from here, which I cannot. I'm sad that the purples, oh, that's something I can do now. I'm gonna hide the face cam and see if I can do anything. Oh, that's way too yellow. Way too yellow. See, there's no way, if this was a regular camera, because you could see the purple in my gloves, but those are still looking very blue. There's no way for me here to, at least with these controls. Ooh, can I do it this way? Settings. Nope. Can I do a filter? No, maybe effect filters. Color correction. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Let's try this again. Okay. Nope. Yeah. I'll have to play around with that. But there's not, like, in Photoshop, like, you can go on a color slider and it can be like, okay, like, it needs more magenta. And so I can just shift that slider and I can play around with it until it looks more real to, like, what I see. But there's not, like, a good way for me to do it in this software. We can see the purple down. See, it's there! Oh, man. I mean, it could be fun. I've seen people do like paintings using, like, you know, when you have like inverted colors, like how like an old color negative would look. I've seen people do paintings in inverted colors and then like with digital software inverted at the end, and then you see like what it, and you're just like, your mind's blown because they could create it like that. It could be fun for me to dye something where you guys can't easily tell what colors I'm using. But I don't think I would be able to hide that vocally. Yeah, so I think that would just be hard for me to be like, ooh, and not say what color I'm using because I'm used to that. But yeah, it's a shame when I look and I'm like, okay, there's a discrepancy with what I see in person and what's showing up on camera. And really, the camera, a lot of these webcams struggle to pick up purples. Maybe if I eventually can swap to a, I mean, to be fair, the purple hints are like tiny in here. But maybe if I can eventually swap to using a DSLR for streaming, which can be done, but it's just, I would need a more sturdy setup to do it, to feel comfortable doing that. Because it just needs more inputs and things like that. And so, yeah, I would need to not be balanced on a chair. And here is our yarn mop, which is just gonna cool and while I flip this yarn and bring it over. But I'm assuming, yeah, these colors are well set. I'm glad they're all striking really, really well. So I think, as I flip, I'm trying to expose areas that I want more color. I think that I am not going to use any more Chartreuse necessarily. At least for now. I will do a little bit more purple, I think, and probably more teal than blue. Maybe. But yeah, I'm trying to expose the whiter areas so we can cover these up. And I'm glad that the camera has not failed on me yet today. That is always, always wonderful. But yeah, as for whether or not, oh, I should bring the yarn up over. As for whether we're going to get to the silk, that I don't know. I can't say. It, you know, those things always depend on how much, like, how hands-on you are with the particular color. The nice thing, as I add purple, about the yarn mop being a little bit warm still, is then that will help these colors strike on there, which in turn will allow me to use it like a little bit more
which is nice. As I move my head to make sure I see where I'm putting these colors. I am going to add some bright aqua still though, I think. I really, really like bright aqua. And it's definitely like deeper than I expect. If that makes sense. Because I think that like looking at it, I expect it to be like a light color. And then it just has more punch. But it is a, quote, safer color for me to go heavier with than the teal, because it is ultimately less pigmented than the teal. So while it's a brighter color, it is gonna like let me spread a little bit of pigment on a little bit more than some of those deeper colors would allow me to do. But it probably also doesn't then go as far if when I'm pushing it in. So that is another consideration. And my hand is soaking wet, so I'm going to dry it off and go back in to our bright aqua. And you can always tell I'm focusing a bit when I stop talking as much. There we go. Try to be good with keeping my lids closed. Okay. But now I'm starting to have less and less idea of where I have added the color. I'm trying to help that move through. And so the nice thing is, okay, I still am going to want to wait some amount of time before we move things. And I do want to add some more peacock and some more teal. But I don't want to go too heavy with either of them. But I'm aiming for areas where I feel both white and where I'm feeling larger sections of some of these brights. That's sort of what I am working on here. And it's like the intense focus is coming in. Oh yeah, I covered up some of that purple. See, some of the purples and some of these greens may end up feeling, well, the greens may feel a little bit more green where the blues layer on them. It's not quite bringing them teal. And so this is where being random can work like for you or against you, because if you go too much, it might shift those brights. I do have a video, but I used, oh, that's a lot. I think I used a bit fewer colors. A video where I did like a Halloween colorway with neons and black, and that worked pretty well. That worked pretty well. This teal green is just all over my hands. Because whenever I flipped the yarn, I put the orange where I had the orange before, and I kind of kept track of things like that, which really, really helped me stick with those different colors and preserve them. But so I'm not just pressing with the flat of the spoon anymore. I'm trying to, even though I am some, I'm trying to really help work these colors down. And some pastel isn't going to be an issue, obviously. But I would like some amount of coverage. So we will see. But the yarn mop is mega saturated, but has a lot of color. Because again, I started with more liquid in it this time. And I'm just popping that in. We will steam that. I may only wait 5 minutes this time, but I do want to rinse and not spray water all over myself. These sides down a little bit. Oh my God, as I keep missing. But another thing that you could do if you want these colors to spread a little bit more is to start with more water. The more water you have, the more you'll be able to spread things out. So that is my process, but I still, for sure, I still see both the purple and the green. And I need to set a timer. That was not setting the timer. But yeah, and I'll say right now, I don't know if I'm going to be getting to the silk today. We'll see how I feel. I have a feeling that this is going to need one more, maybe two more flips. And I sort of had like I was like, okay, I'm not going to do the longest stream today because I want to get more packages ready to ship. Also because, well, I can't really say more about it because it's not my news, but something really awesome has happened to someone really, really close to me. Like really, really, really awesome. And so, yeah, I may have to celebrate some of that. Which means that my evenings will be a little bit different, but yeah, I can't say more because it's not my news, but yeah, I'm very, very proud of someone very close to me. So, yeah, that was very exciting. Oh man. But yeah, it's sort of just like threw for a loop because I've been like, my fatigue level, I think I talked about this in the Patreon behind the scenes live stream that I did earlier this week. My fatigue level has been pretty high, mainly because hosting Seder's was so wonderful. We had my parents who, we've been seeing my parents, like we'll test beforehand, but we've been seeing my parents and my husband's parents a fair amount. But then we had some friends over that we hadn't had this like friends Seder in years, mainly because the Seders before we were doing Seders, just the four of us, like that some of them had fallen on weekends, so they were traveling to family versus being in town. But it was like we got together with some of our friends that otherwise we only see we see them every week on Zoom because we have like there's a standing game night, but it was just wonderful to be all together. And but that meant that I had to clean the house. And I will say my house is clean, but it is not clutter free. And so that took more out of me than I thought, even though like the meals I was cooking were pretty simple. But yeah, and so if you don't know, I do have chronic fatigue syndrome, which I've had for a very long time. I think the original diagnosis was like 13 years ago, maybe. And so, yeah, it's something that like I deal with a lot by trying to like have balance and stuff. But then when there's things going on that are like different, then sometimes it pushes me, and then I have like a bit of a flare up, and then it takes some more time to recover. And so, thankfully, I don't really have pain. It's more of just like the brain fog gets really bad and really thick, and so sometimes that can be hard. But thankfully, like I'm back at my like baseline. But of course, like with shipping and packaging, that sometimes can be something that I push myself more. But I've done a good like rhythm, and then
I think I'm done with all of the dyeing for SMSMSMS. There are a couple colorways that I may open up some dyed to order. I don't want to make promises, but there are some that I may do that. There will be a restock of some bases probably in the next shop update, because once I finish shipping everything that I've finished shipping all the pre-orders, then I can do a count of this is exactly how many sets I have left, and then go from there. And so, yeah, but then I also have to decide what I'm keeping myself. And I think I've potentially dyed more sets of yarn than I have the ability to make sets of. So there will be some mini skein sets that, like, as the episodes air, some will become available potentially in the shop. I also have some from the first night that are imperfect because there was some like color transfer. And so they're still pretty. I just didn't send them in a sampler. And so like those will go for, be listed in the shop during the series. And so I don't know, it's fun. I really enjoy doing the SMSMS and looking at a lot of different yarn bases with different techniques and comparing different bases, even if everything is all in one pot, so it's not the most fair side-by-side depth of shade comparison. It's still fun to see like how things may look really similar, or like things spread differently on different bases and things like that. So, well, let's go back to our yarn. And our moppity mop. Let's see. Thank you. Thank you so much. You can almost see this time a little bit of the purple in there. But it's still looking way bluer than it looks to me. But the colors are all still showing through, which is really good. And our mop is getting a lot of coverage as well. On this side, you don't really see much blue. You see a lot of the teals. You also see the green and the purple. That's not too hot. Okay. Tongs. Oh, the tongs are at the stove. I was like, I cannot find them. So let's see how we're doing. That's not bad. That is not bad. I am almost satisfied. Almost. I could still see myself do it coming in 2 more times though. Aha. Especially around the zip ties. That one has better coverage. Okay. That's the thing, like you're done when you decide you're done, and that can be different for all kinds of people and preferences. Okay. I think that those are the areas that I'm going to be focusing on. And I have to decide color. Maybe because I don't want it to get lost, maybe I'll do a little bit of purple and then some blue. Maybe bright aqua. Because I don't want to make it too dark. I don't want to go too dark, but the purple I just don't want to get lost. So that's why I'm still adding more of that onto sections. So I'm often torn with different techniques that I like to do, because when I have, say, 200 grams of yarn in a pan, I can quickly get the color and be done, right? But when I have 300 grams of yarn in a pan and I'm doing something like this, I find I do way more like layers. I do a lot more layers and iterations and just application
of the color overall. And so I don't know what the best way to deal with that is, or like if it's even a problem that bothers me or anything. So yeah, but I am also a small batch dyer, so therefore it's not a problem for me to do little amounts and have to spread it and things like that. So, but that could be like if you do larger batches, that could then become a larger issue. See, I can take this color and just like add it if I think it's too heavy. I mean, it's not perfect to like move it like that. Oh, there's some. There we go. Just sort of transfer. But what this is doing is giving so much dimension. I might add a little bit of bright aqua. We're getting so much dimension in here from all these colors. And as we layer, and I promise I still see the green, I still see the purple. I don't think it's showing up super well on camera. But yeah, just the layering will give us that iridescent-y feel. And I still have a feeling I'm going to add color one more time at least. Oh dear. But what that means is that I might be dyeing the silk for the recap. Because I'm like having this like debate with myself. I'm like, well, I want to dye the silk. Should have just dyed that first. But I never know how long a colorway will take me. So I might do something a little bit different with the silk, but I think I'll do that later.
Because I want to make sure that there's time for me to twist up a lot of yarn today. Oh gosh, and the other thing that's going on this week is book fair. And so I got to volunteer at school for the first time. Okay, you can see my stash of Starlight Coke. It's the like limited edition, like space flavored. It's at first I wasn't sure, and then we decided we really liked it. I got to volunteer at my kid's school for the first time in like over 2 years, really. And when Lucas was in kindergarten, I went in, I think like at least once a month. There were a lot of opportunities for parents to come in. Maybe it was just kindergarten, but to come in and like I got to go to, there was a day they invited parents to gym class. And so we went through the PE curriculum and they had us running like laps and doing the obstacle courses and stuff the kids were doing. And that was really fun. You know, and there would be like other projects or like on birthdays, we could come in and read a story and just things like that. And obviously things have been very, very different the last 2 years, but it was the first time Ryder got to see me like during the school day inside the building. And so that was really cool. And he was so excited to see me. And so I was just like helping out like at the book fair with the kids. And yeah, I think that was just really, really special. But so tonight, that's the other thing we have, is we have the book fair, I technically aren't, books are a weakness of mine. My kids love to read, and like, I love libraries and stuff too, but I love giving them books. books and Legos are probably my like shopping, and well, yarn obviously, but outside of that, books and Legos. Um, but it's so fun to see them so excited, and like both of them, like you give them a new book and they just like curl up next to each other, like under a blanket and just read, and it's just the most beautiful thing. And so, and then it like also supports the school, and so that's fun. But then next week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and I have been working up a storm. I can show you guys what I made for that. Although, okay, but Miss E, I don't think you'd be watching this stream, but Miss E, if you are, don't look. Oh my goodness. Got it. I need to rotate you. Done. Okay. I think I can just pull it straight in. I go here. There. That's what I made. So I used nope. There we go. So I used the Cricut, and I cut out letters, and I made little holes in the font so that way I could string it on some twine. And then I made, like, since there was extra cardstock, I made like these stars, and I have more of them that I can string onto garlands, and then a little teacher's roll like thing. And so it's not that elaborate, but I'm very, very proud of it. I'm not sure why I'm so proud. I also made 100 personalized cups for all the teachers. So that was one of the other things that I've been doing. So yeah, we have straw cups and I put everyone's name on them. Yeah, so yeah, that that's what I've had like a big task oriented week. But I love, like, there are a lot of professions and things I have a lot of respect for, but a group that I just 100% want to show like love and care are my kids' teachers, because they put so much of their time and own money to making things feel so personal, and my kids feel so loved and supported in their school that as a parent for like teacher appreciation, I want to put that same like time and effort and energy into what we do for them, so that way they hopefully feel like it's not just like thrown together. It's, yeah, so that's something that I've always like, I never want to be like a leader of like organize the whole week, but I'm like, I will make things, I will do stuff, because that's, yeah, even in preschool, I was often in charge of like the teacher gifts, and I'd like organize that. So yeah, 100. Because at first, like, I was like, oh, I have a Cricut, and they're like, oh, because you know, it's like, oh, I can make like labels or signs or whatever, and then they're like, we could do like cups, and I'm like, yeah, thinking like, okay, you know, maybe there's like 3 classes a grade, but I didn't think about all the like support staff and like, yeah. So it's not just, so it's like for administration and for like nurses and for everyone. And honestly, like, I had my kids start writing notes for teachers, and bless them, they were like, I was like, I don't even know who this one teacher is, and I guess, you know, she's a floater in the school, and so sometimes covers. And I'm like, how awesome that they wanted to make notes for this teacher that I don't even know and haven't heard them speak about. But good, because they should all get notes, right? And so I just, yeah, I enjoy doing that. And just like sometimes I say, like when I do like samplers and stuff for my shop, I try to put like love and care into it, because I don't know. That's just like, I don't know what that makes my love language, that I like, because it's not quite acts of service or gifts. It's like something in the middle that I like to do, right? I like to just show. I'm not sure what that would be, but anyway, I didn't set a timer, so I don't know how long I've been sitting here. I will give it until 37, and then I'll try to remember to stand up. But yeah, so the last few weeks, I was like, ooh, so on target, and now I'm like, oh no, it's the end of the month. Like I still haven't. Well, the knit crates didn't arrive, and there have been multiple evenings where like I wanted to do the Paradise Fibers unboxing, and I try to do unboxings now on different days from Die Cut Weeklies, but I think I'm gonna probably do the unboxing sometime this weekend because as an early Mother's Day gift, I'm getting a weekend off from childcare, and so they're going to visit Keith's parents for an early Mother's Day, but it's like the win-win, and so I get to. I'm going to do something with one of my best friends, but haven't nailed out what. But I think that I might also do an unboxing because I want to see the yarn. Oh, you love my videos? Oh, thank you. Oh, you're in Tokyo? Oh, thank you, Wyatt. Thank you. Oh, man. But yeah, so books and Legos are the two things you're always willing to invest money in for your kids. Oh, the Legos? Those are for me. No, I get Legos for the kids too. We're a huge Lego family. And so a lot of times though, like I'll see something that I want and then like I'll get it, but I don't always have time to build the sets I get for myself. But sometimes I want to have them in case they sell out. And so like he's like, you have quite a stash. Like I have like friends sets. But I got like oftentimes I'll get stuff and I'll be like, here, you can give this to me like for birthday or something. And so rather than getting them for myself, I'm like, I will do my husband a solid. He's really good at coming up with gifts too, but yeah. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do the exact same technique on the gloss, or it's another idea that I had that I ended up not wanting to do because I didn't want to dissolve the dyes in advance. I'll be honest. Is that I think that these colors and the layering could be really fun if you're twisting the skeins in the pan and pouring on the dye. I think that that could be another fun way to get them to layer together. The thing with that I'm not good about is I'm not always good about predicting how tight I twist and how much coverage and things like that. Oh, no worries. I know that, thanks for joining, Caitlin. I know that daytime streams can be a lot harder for people in the US, especially people who work, because of just, it's in the daytime. It is a bit easier for me to do, and then the lighting is better. And so then I know like lots of people in other parts of the world can join, which is also wonderful. So yeah, but oh, I need to stand up. I gave myself a self-imposed time as I do like a very uncreative back bend. Oof. I'm enjoying the like dark and light, and this is fun. All right. Am I going to be satisfied? Maybe. Or will I never be satisfied? And I'm not going to sing that song too. There's like a little bit of white. Oh, I'll never be satisfied. I mean, I'm close to being satisfied. This is why sometimes in videos, this part ends up being a time lapse. Because otherwise, like, I start to get a tad bit repetitive, maybe. Okay, I think I'm gonna just do a little bit of bright aqua and then call it probably. Oh, I can turn this up and make it a little bit hotter again though. That was feeling a little bit cool. Here's our yarn mop. Okay, mask back on. Another thing I could start doing
wanting a little bit more liquid. So then when I add the color, maybe I won't go onto the yarn mop. Yeah, I will. But I'm going to finger paint this time to spread that color out just a little bit further. Because it's not that warm. There. I'm going to try to be satisfied. But again, if you want to take 20 passes at the yarn until you're finished, that is okay. It's your yarn. You can do that. That's not ever an issue. But you've definitely watched me, if you watch the let's dye some Dye Pot Weekly episodes video, some colorways literally take 5 minutes to dye. And then some, we'll spend an hour and a half on. So, and that doesn't make me love the yarn any more or less. It just limits what I can do sometimes if I'm scaling something up. And so sometimes what I forget is that I should start off with more liquid in the first place. Because then I would be able to spread things out more. Or actually, something else that could have worked in my favor, and that maybe I should consider doing this with the gloss, and this might actually be a good idea, is to dip dye the yarn first. So if first I dip dye the in in, say, even if I just do the Chartreuse and the bright aqua, so that way the base is not white. Then when I layer on the colors, or I don't even have to do the whole thing, but I could do 3 colors with the purple as well. Maybe with the silk, I should dip dye it first. Because then you start off with no white. And so then that's less of a problem. And so maybe even I would pick something like Frozen, something that is a little bit less of a blue-green. Something that's a little bit of a brighter blue that I could, with the Chartreuse and even with the bright aqua, make it, or even teal, make it more teal, but that with the electric violet on it will still have a purple feel. And I could go for a pink or purple if I needed to, but that would give a base that then as I layer these colors on, if there's a little bit more pastel spot, it would be that other color showing through. And so I think that might be the way that I would do it, because then since I want some of these brights to be there, if these brights are showing through a little bit, that's fine and already present. And so, yeah, I think that's an idea of something I could do with the silk. And so I think I'll dye that conceivably for the recap. Or maybe I'll do a second, I mean, it would probably be in May, but maybe in May I'll do a second dye along for April. So I don't know. But that's certainly an idea that I really, really like that I could do. I am hoping to do more big live streams as we head into summer and stuff. Summer's gonna get tricky. Oy, I hadn't thought about that. But
I'm trying to feel like I'm back to normal. So we'll see how things go. We'll see how things go. But anyway, if you've enjoyed hanging out with me, dyeing some yarn today, please subscribe. Please make sure you're subscribed. Double check. Sometimes YouTube, I mean, other people say this, but sometimes I don't know how accurate it is. Sometimes YouTube will unsubscribe people, or you might, accidentally press a button and unsubscribe. And so please make sure you're subscribed. And if your notifications are on, then you're more likely to be notified when a new stream comes out or a new video. There will be a new pre-filmed dyeing video. I think it's a Leave No Dye Behind tomorrow. That will come out tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Time. And again, if you would like to participate in the ChemKnits dye-along and dye yarn inspired by this photo yourself, I'm trying to see if those pictures ever, no, they never made it into the cloud. But on my Instagram stories, I do have a picture of what, more accurate of what the yarn is looking like. Actually, okay, this is gonna bug me. Let's see. Oh wait, how do I do this? You're watching me like real time trying to figure out. Okay, here's the one I wanted to do. I'm like taking a screenshot of my Instagram story, quickly cropping it. There we go. Okay. So, like I gotta show it. I gotta show it, everyone. Nope. There we go. Nope, I did not want to open it. I just wanted to drag it over here. There we go. That's what it looks like. Not right currently, but that was the last flip. And so see, that's got more, the greens and the purples, which will be more muted now that I've added more and more dye. But those are definitely still present in there. And I'll add one more picture to my stories right after I sign off. So you can see what it looks like currently in there. Thank you. Thank you so much. But yeah, if you want to participate in the dye-along, share your share a picture of the yarn you dyed on Instagram using the hashtag ChemKnitsDyeAlong, or you can share the yarn on Facebook. Look for this picture on the ChemKnits Facebook page and reply with a photo comment. And then I'll pull a lot of the pictures to share in the recap, which I'll make some kind of an announcement at some point, whether or not I'll let this picture go, because I only shared it at the end of like this week. Maybe we'll do this in May, and then I'll do another live stream with this other idea. If you have a preference on that, if you think that I should do another version of this, and we should just let this be like an April-May dye-along, let me know in the comments down below, because yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I definitely want to do another version. And yeah, go and check out the ChemKnits Creations Etsy shop. I also have a Patreon. Links to all of that are down in the video description. And I think that that's about it. But yeah, if you haven't received a shipping notification for your SMS sets, don't worry. I'm on top of it, and it should by like, if the order has been placed before today, you should get a shipping notification by Saturday. So some speckles would be really lovely. Oh, Revolution Yarn, thank you so much for the super chat. Or Ravolution? Revolution? Thank you. Thank you so much. Your videos are so valuable and have helped you learn so much. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I mean, I can't do what I do without all of you hanging out and supporting this. And so I really, really enjoy the opportunity, and oh, good, I did set a timer for 30 minutes. Awesome. I enjoy the, yeah, just it's my absolute pleasure to share my own color journeys with all of you and to share my growth and how I'm learning along the way. And so, because I feel like, you know, all of us can always learn more. So, yeah, I guess you're never too old to learn something. But anyway, I am going to head out, grab some lunch, and then I'm gonna go and twist some more yarn, so that way I can get some more. I can get tomorrow's packages ready to go. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I hopefully will be back soon. Today is Thursday. Yeah, so conceivably, maybe sometime this weekend or early next week I'll do an unboxing. So, yeah. I'm like, I don't know when, because I've had like 5 other times I've intended to do it, and then I haven't had the chance. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, everyone.